January 2024, Kenya will be a visa-free country. It shall no longer be necessary for any person from any corner of the globe to carry the burden of applying for a visa to come to Kenya.
Is Kenya really visa-free for all countries around the world? That's what we want to cut in today's video, and I welcome you to stay to the very end of this video so that you can learn more about this new rule that was passed beginning January 2024, whereby the President of Kenya declared Kenya a visa-free destination for all countries, all visitors around the world. If you are seeing my face for the first time, welcome to the channel. My name is Eva Mtali. On this channel, I talk mostly about travel, but I'm also on a mission to visit all the 195 UN recognized countries in the world. So far, I am somewhere more than 100 countries, and I share with you guys my travel escapades through my travel vlogs. I also talk about visas, obviously. I talk about relocation guides, but I also share opportunities to work abroad. So if any of those topics sound exciting to you, you want to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and also do yourself a favor to hit the notification bell so that every single time I shoot a new video, you do not miss out. So guys, Kenya being visa-free beginning January 2024. In my opinion, I think it is worse than when we had visas. And let me explain. So for starters, there was a time actually before the current regime came, during the Uhuru regime, Kenya was literally visa-free for all Africans. Like you'd literally just show up at JKIA and enter into Kenya if you were of an African descent, or if you had an African passport, a passport from an African country. But now beginning January 2024, that means that even all these countries in Africa, all the citizens of countries in Africa that previously would just show up at JKI or any of our borders will now need to obtain an ETA or an electronic travel authorization in full at least 74 hours in advance of any trip to Kenya. And this comes at a fee $32.5 US for the regular service and $52.5 US for an expedited or a premium service. And as if that is not enough, for you to submit your ETA or your electronic travel authorization, you must submit a confirmed flight itinerary and hotel bookings for every single day you plan to be in Kenya. So in some cases, you'll also have to submit a bank statement and proof of finance. The ordinary electronic authorization ETA is not changeable even in situations where your flight is cancelled out of no fault of your own, and it is locked into the specific flight itinerary you submit. But you can pay extra for the premium ETA service to be allowed one change of flight number. Now guys, let me address two issues. So from a traveler perspective, I think this rule is really gonna be a deal breaker. But speaking from a citizen perspective, and especially from the perspective of someone who has been traveling and requires visas for literally every single country, I think it is a welcome move so that everybody else can get a taste of what it means to travel on a weak passport, a weak third world country passport, a weak Kenyan passport. Because yeah, guys have been enjoying the passport privilege for a long time, and people just do not know what it takes, what it means to be in such a situation whereby you have the money, you have the will to travel, but you just cannot because you're not welcomed in people's borders. So from the citizen perspective, I look at it as a good thing. It's a revenue earner. For a very long time, Kenya has operated like a toilet. People just show up, do whatever they want. But at least now we're going to be making some money as a country, which is badly needed in these tough economic times. And everybody else around the world is charging Kenyans for visas, so why not? So from citizen perspective, this is a very, very welcome move. Go, you president, we need the money. But from a traveler perspective, I don't envy you guys. You guys have been having a fun time, but now welcome to our world. This is exactly what we go through every single time we want to travel. And the advantage that you all have is that the chances of your visa or your ETA being declined are next to impossible. But for the rest of the average third world country national, you could fill in all these details. Like for us, you have to literally go and see a visa counselor for some of the countries and explain your case, which is usually a very, very miserable situation for most people, and sometimes you still end up being denied the visa. So I personally, I thank God I have been very fortunate to have all the visas that I need, but it's not the reality of most people, especially our Kenyan people. So as bad as this sound, trust me, is so much better than what the rest of us have to go through to even just travel. When you even have the money, you have all the social, economic, financial ties, but sometimes it's not easy. So something else about this electronic travel authorization is that it is single entry, and you cannot apply for the next ETA until you exit the country, meaning that you cannot travel to Kenya more often than once every 22 hours. So the earliest you can travel to Kenya is after 72, not even. So you have like your 72-hour period, and then depending on when your ETA gets approved, that's when you can travel back to Kenya. That's really sad. I don't envy you guys. So this system is not something that I would comment from the perspective of a traveler to Kenya. But from a citizen perspective, I support it because it brings more money to us. So every time you want to enter a country, you're going to have to like give us more money. I mean, and we are already suffering as citizens. Like we have new taxes every single day, literally. Like the government is almost taxing us for breathing. And I remember last year when junior doctors in the UK striked for higher pay rise. What did the UK government do? They simply increased visa fees. So it looks like this is what everybody is doing, and I'm like, Ruto, why not? I mean, that's what everybody is doing. Just if you need more money, just tax the visitors. That's what everybody's doing. We learned from the best. So welcome move. But the question is, in the long term, what impact is it likely to have? For Kenyan tourism, I don't think it's such a big deal because $32.5 is little money compared to what they previously used to pay. It used to be $51 for a Kenyan visa. But what about the African countries where especially we have been enjoying this reciprocal, not even reciprocal, actually it was Kenya that was giving everybody else visa-free entry, but nobody was giving us. Though South Africa just started giving us visa-free entry sometime, was it last year, 2022? So I guess it's gonna be like a wait and see kind of thing, but I'm sure it's not gonna end well, especially for the African countries. For the other people, it's more of a wait and see. And yeah, I mean, for a very long time, the tourist visa has been abused, especially by the non-African visitors. And I think this is gonna kind of nip it a little bit, but of course, humans are human beings. There's always ways to circumvent the system. Yeah, and remember, when you are submitting the supporting documents like your bank statements and all that, it has to be like for 3 months in advance, all of which has to be submitted at least 72 hours before your trip, and you wait for like 72 hours to get it approved. So even if your flight number changes, as I've already mentioned, there's nothing you can do unless you're on the premium service, which charges more, and you cannot re-enter in less than 72 hours. So yeah, I guess it's a wait and see game. So guys, it's nothing like so as much as Kenya is now visa free technically, you're still gonna need like an ETA, which is like a visa. So let's wait and see. Thanks guys for watching.